to Pasadena, California, and the Rose Bowl for the Mickey Thompson Off-Road Championship Grand Prix. Yeah, this is the site that they play the granddaddy of all the bowl games on January 1st, but today it's taken on a different look. They brought in millions of pounds of dirt and transformed it into an off-road course. Hi, everybody. I'm Mike Chamberlain, and this is Marty Reed. And, Marty, there's a song that goes, "It never rains in Southern California." I got news for that composer. It's raining today. What's that going to do to the course?
Well, actually, it will change a lot of things for the drivers. First off, obviously, it's going to be a lot slipperier out there. Secondly, it'll force drivers, instead of using a tire shaved down for racing, they'll go to a bigger, chunkier tire, a lot more tread on it, so they'll get a little more bite. And they won't be able to be as aggressive because they'll still be slip-sliding into each other, even with the bigger tires.
It's tough enough to race a course like this when all the conditions are clean, but when it gets wet, look out. There's going to be a lot of slipping and sliding. Let's talk about some of the cars here that'll be racing the Grand National Sport Trucks.
Well, Mazda has won every single event in the 4 races held previously, and Toyota must break through with only 4 races remaining if they hope to capture the manufacturer's crown. They need one badly here.
Let's talk about the Ultra Stocks.
Well, Ultra Stocks are the funny cars of this sport, if you will. They have similar bodies to what you might find on the street that you and I may drive, but other than that, they are pure race car underneath.
And you'll also see the ATVs here today, so we've got a lot planned for you from the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California. Sit down, get comfortable, but buckle up. We'll be back with racing at the Rose Bowl. The Mickey Thompson Off-Road Championship Grand Prix is brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers, and proud sponsors of the 1988 U.S. Olympic team. For all you do, this Bud's for you.
A tradition of horsepower. For the second consecutive year, Budweiser racing teams captured 3 national championships. Bobby Rahal in the Bud IndyCar. Kenny Bernstein in the Budweiser King. And Jim Cropfeld in Miss Budweiser. It's a tradition of horsepower that keeps Budweiser ahead of the pack. Racing fans,
Bob Strange, BF Goodrich test engineer.
The trick to building great all-terrain tires is making them as good off-road as on. All-terrain TAs from BF Goodrich are tested in some of the roughest off-road situations in the world. I believe TA radials are the best performance tires in the world, and I torture them to keep them that way.
BF Goodrich TAs, tested tough to make your truck perform.
If you could ask for a truck that goes wherever you want to go, and you've got the performance answer, Toyota 4x4. Ask for rugged good looks and style and get the bragging rights that go with them. Don't compromise. Don't settle for less than Toyota quality. Now who's looking out for number 1?
Toyota.
Toyota, who could ask for anything more?
Welcome back to Pasadena, California, the Mickey Thompson Off-Road Championship Grand Prix. And, Marty, right now we've got a truck on the course, and he's going to take us around slow and then kind of punch one for us.
Well, this is Glenn Harris in the Mazda. Now, you can see that he's taking a slow approach. A lot of rain here, and rain has just tapered off. In fact, has come to a stop. He'll be coming up over the first jump, which will be at start-finish line. Into the first turn, it's a left-hander. He has to make a decision here. Each driver can decide to go inside that barrier that you see right there or outside it like Glenn Harris just did. Then 2 jumps before he hits what we call the switchback area. If you're not set up properly for turn number 2, you can get hung out to dry. You don't want anybody cutting inside of you there. Then coming down into the straight area, 1 more jump into the section of the whoop-de-doos, and that's what they're called in off-road racing. Sounds like a term that somebody forgot and couldn't come up with, so they named them whoop-de-doos, but that's what it is. Then into turn number 4. Hard left-hander sets you up for 2 jumps. The second one being a very big one, because if you're not set up properly, you'll come off uneven into the big sweeping final turn. Okay, let's go fast with Glenn Harris of the Mazda. Up and over start-finish line. You'll get set up. Now, he has to make a decision in turn 1 to go inside or outside. Tonight, you're going to see a lot more guys go outside. And notice how he's having a difficult time getting a bite on those tires. up and over a series of 2 jumps as we head into the switchback area. Turn number 2. Don't want anybody inside of you there because they'll push you out to the rail. Then as he swings it back around, using the throttle to move the rear end around, 1 big jump, and then into the section known as the whoop-de-doo. Through turn 3, a hard left-hander, and up and over 2 more jumps. The second one's very critical because if you're not set up properly for it with all this mud, you will be bent out of shape and not in proper position to come into the big sweeper here, turn number 4, as you come out of it and head back towards the start-finish line, and that's 1 lap of the Rose Bowl.
Okay, we're all set to race at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California. And Marty, online now, the Grand National Sports Trucks. This is heat race number 1.
And the best news we can pass along is that since we moved back up into the booth, wouldn't you know it, it finally stopped raining. But track conditions are still extremely slippery, and it's going to probably stay that way the remainder of the night. We took a lot of rain here, and except for the racing, being able to identify these trucks, this will probably be the cleanest we will see them for the remainder of this evening. On the pole will be Jeff Huber and Rod Millen up front, and then go back to row number 3 because this will be the view that you'll see at least momentarily until all the mud blocks out our in-car camera.
Okay, here we go. The Grand National Sport Trucks. The green flag comes down, and the Grand National Sport Trucks are off and running. And right away, we've got a Mazda in the lead. That's Jeff Huber. But look at them pile up at turn number 1, Marty. They got to go inside or outside.
And everybody is going to have to go to the outside pretty much because you just can't maintain speed going to the inside. Notice now the Toyota of Ivan Stewart trying to get around Jeff Huber, but once you get way out into the slop, you have no traction whatsoever.
Absolutely. You can see them just spinning their wheels, and that's Huber who goes around the far side of the course, and Stewart makes a move on him and forces him outside, slings some mud at him, and just by osmosis, Stewart has now taken over the lead in his Toyota.
Jeff Huber in 2nd place, Walker Evans in 3rd in the Jeep. Now the Jeep's a couple of races back, had a couple of great heat races. Our last event at Houston, they did not do as well as they wanted to, so Walker Evans trying to prove a lot of things here. He is in 3rd place and putting a move on Jeff Huber, losing a little traction into turn 1. Still, Ivan Stewart up front with 7 laps remaining.
So Stewart maintains the lead. He's in the Toyota. It's an automatic transmission. These cars cost about $150,000 to $175,000 per truck. And they're out here in the mud. In case you just joined us, we are in Pasadena, and earlier in the day we had some rain, and it's caused havoc out there on the off-road course built here at the Mickey Thompson Off-Road Championship Grand Prix.
Now in the 2nd place vehicle, Jeff Huber, you may see some flames shooting out of the exhaust pipe. That is not a turbocharged vehicle. That's just excess fuel being burned off in the hot pipes of that vehicle.
So Ivan Stewart maintains the lead. Huber in 2nd place. It's an interesting race right now for 3rd position. We've got Walker Evans and another Mazda, but in the meantime, they're slowing down on that far turn, Marty. They cannot get traction coming out of the turn going into the whoop-de-doo.
Well, that's what happened to Walker Evans, and that's why he's falling back as far as his pursuit of 2nd place. He's still in 3rd, but you're right. Look at this. In turn number 3, you almost go down to a snail's pace because it is so wet down there.
Well, we've got one car hung up on the hydro barrier. Danny Thompson had to go around him, and that is Joey Moore, I believe, and he is just flat out hung up on the barrier.
It's the first time we've seen Joey Moore this year on the circuit. He's a privateer, doesn't have a lot of big sponsor dollars behind him, but looks like they're going to let the heat race continue with Joey just sort of hung up there to drive.
Joey Moore still hung up in the middle of the course. He's sitting in the car. His wheels are still spinning, and he can only sit there and watch the traffic move all about him. So, Ivan Stewart maintaining a masterful lead right now. We've got cars, and Joey finally comes off the barrier, and he's back in the race, but he's down by about 4 laps.
Meanwhile, back up front, the race for 1st and 2nd, Ivan Stewart maintaining about 4 car lengths on Jeff Huber. Now they're coming up on lap traffic. Danny Thompson in the pink Chevrolet is within about 7 car lengths of being lapped by Ivan Stewart.
It's going to get tricky here on the far turn. Danny Stewart needs to, forgive me, Danny Thompson needs to get out of the way, but he's not doing it. Here comes Stewart. Here comes Huber. And Danny Thompson is standing right in front of all of them and refuses to give up ground. He's a gutsy driver, and he always drives like he's going to win. White flag comes out, 1 lap remaining. Thompson moves to the side. Iron Man Stewart goes outside on turn number 1. Well, let's watch what Huber does. He goes inside, tries to accelerate, can get no traction. And Stewart, with about a half a lap remaining, maintains the lead. The Grand National Sport Trucks, Pasadena, California.
Well, I guarantee you the tire manufacturers in this one are it's an all-out war when you have changes in the conditions like this. Right now, BF Goodrich is patting themselves on the back because it's their vehicle out in front.
Well, the number 21 car, Rod Miller, running third right now, losing fenders, but here comes the checkered flag. Ivan Stewart, number 1, Jeff Huber, number 2, and Rod Miller, another Boston teammate, will finish third.
It's tough for me to stay close to the action these days. Especially since I'm used to being the action. But now, I found the best way to stay on top of basketball and all my favorite sports is by reading the Sporting News, America's sports authority. The Sporting News keeps me fully informed and up to date. Puts me right in the center of the action. Whether your game is hoops or hockey, football or baseball, the Sporting News brings you the most coverage and the best coverage week after week. So the Sporting News, no matter where you are, puts you right in the center of the action.
Call 1-800-626-8300. That's 1-800-626-8300 and get 55 big issues of the Sporting News for 4 easy payments of just $7.50. You'll save 75% off the cover price, save 50% off the regular subscription rate. So call now 1-800-626-8300. That's 1-800-626-8300.
And the scene is just about set. This is heat race number 2, 4-wheel all-terrain vehicles, 250 cc's, and they're on the line, throttling down. Marty, you might talk quickly sometime in the race. They have what's known as an umbilical cord here, and maybe we can talk about that a little bit later. But there goes the flag. There go the racers as they head to number 2, and it is real tight as they hit turn number 1. But I believe it is Mark Earnhardt. Oh, we got a smoker right off the bat, Marty, and he's leading. That's number 64. That is Charles Shinard. He started on the pole position, but nonetheless, he's got the lead, but he's spraying nothing but smoke into the back of the field right now. He goes up on 2 wheels. This guy is flaming as he comes down the back straightaway. So Mark Earnhardt with the lead, but on fire in a roundabout way. 1 lap is now completed. Earnhardt leads into the turn, number 32. Number 30, I'm sorry, I just took the wrong guy around the whole track. That is Charles Shepard.
Yeah, you're right. It's Shepard out in front.
Shepard out in front, but whoever it is smoking, I can tell you that much.
Well, maybe it's extra power that he's got in his tank there because so far it's working very well for him. He's giving the fans a great show. He's bicycling it, going up on 2 wheels, maintaining the balance, and you can see the smoke just pouring out of there. It doesn't seem to be slowing him down at all.
No, he acts like he can care less, or maybe he doesn't even know. Some of these guys get so zoned into what they have to do that they don't even look down at their bikes. But he goes sideways for a second, and the smoker, he's going to get a new nickname by the time this is over. The smoker then takes it to the middle part of the course. So Shepard, maintaining the lead, had some early trouble with the engine, but obviously it's not affecting any of his acceleration.
Mark Earnhardt is in second place and maintaining that position very well. We've got a rollover back in turn number 2, and it looks like
the bike is on top of him, Marty. It has absolutely got him trapped. He cannot shake free of it, and as he works around, he seems to get himself more in trouble. It looks like a wrestler pinned in the match. I don't think he's hurt. He's still kicking, and he's trying to move.
The problem is the safety crews that's right in the middle of the course. There, they are finally able to get to him. He's okay, but it's just a matter of he wants to race. He's just upset that he couldn't race.
He gets those handlebars back up. The crowd just explodes here.
Well, this is what you're not supposed to do in ATV riding. You're not supposed to let the machine ride you, and we can have a little chuckle about this right now with Chris Cotto, and I'm sure maybe somewhere along the line he'll find this humorous. Obviously, he doesn't right now. It looked at first that he might be hurt, but he was actually trying to just get the machine off of him so he could get back out there and race. And you can see he quickly springs up, unhurt, and gets right back into the battle.
Well, here we are. We're under a yellow flag, but it's a sneaky suspicion by both Mike Chamberlain and Marty Reed that the green flag will go down right about now. And when it does, we will have 2 laps remaining. And there it goes. And they stand on it one more time as they head for turn number 1. That is number 64, Charles Shepard, who maintains the lead. But it's Marty Hart who's knocking on the back door right now.
Defending champion here at Pasadena. And he had the door slammed on himself there. He's now back in 3rd place. But for a while there, he looked like he was going to be able to overtake 2nd.
Charles Shepard running number 1. Mark Earnhardt running number 2. And it is Marty Hart running number 3. But would you look at Shepard open up a lead on the rest of the field? That was a great shot of how he accelerated out of it and left the field behind him. Here's the race for 2nd place right now. That is Mark Earnhardt and Marty Hart.
And Hart going to try and put the inside move on perhaps, but yes, he sneaks inside. But the outside line of Earnhardt, he's maintained his speed very well and takes the inside line again right away from Marty Hart on turn number 2.
Charles Shepard maintains the lead. We've got about 1 1/4 lap remaining. They're on the far side. The double jumps. They come out of this and lean hard into it. There's that race for 2nd place, and there's the leader in front right now, Charles Shepard. When he comes through the start-finish line, he will have 1 lap remaining, leans his butt way back over the machine to control it, and he's back out on his final lap of the race.
All he has to do is maintain without making any major mistakes, and it's going to be heat race number 2 in the bag for him.
So Charles Shepard maintaining the lead. He opened it up by about 35 yards at this point. That's Mark Earnhardt in 2nd place. And right now he's got nothing to do but handle that far jump on the far side. And the man who started smoking when the race began will finish in a ball of fire. And there he is, Charles Shepard, the winner of heat number 2 of the ATV's 250cc.
And he's still got some smoke puffing out of that thing, but it's run all the way to the finish line.
Quick Facts brought to you by Quaker State Motor Oil. The big Q stands for quality, always has, always will.
Safety on a 4-wheel ATV is essential, especially if a rider goes off. You don't want the machine running wild. Well, what happens is they connect a umbilical. This is Steve Berg, one of the riders in the class, and you'll notice on Steve's uniform, right here on the waistline, it's clipped on in one section, then runs right up through the umbilical cord to the ignition area on the machine. What happens if Steve goes off? Well, it disconnects and kills the motor and keeps the machine from running wild, either into one of the barriers or into another rider.
Quaker State with QSX. How do you make a motor oil this good? You test it in the lab. You test it under the hood. You test it on the track.
Quaker State quality. We don't just talk about it, we live by it.
The big Q stands for quality. Always has, always will.
It's the Quaker State Porsche sweepstakes and rebate, and everybody wins. Mail in the rebate by August 5th, and you'll have $360 per case in your pocket, and maybe a Porsche in your garage.
You wouldn't back out on your baby brother now, would you?
Me?
Hey, here it comes.
I see it. All right. She's all mine now. Hand her over. Right here? Hey, deal's a deal. I can't believe I agreed to this.
When a truck is built to last, like a Toyota, there's no telling how many times you'll hand it down.
The hat? Thank you.
Long-lasting Toyota quality. Who could ask for anything more?
Again, we are at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California. A good crowd on hand, despite the fact that it rained earlier in the day. And we've told you all about that and how the track's been muddy, but the brave Southern Californians decided to battle the weather anyway. Marty, these are the Ultra Stocks.
Yes, and on the pole is Greg George, number 4, and Jeff Elrod, number 2. We are ready to go.
And there comes the green flag, and the number 4 car of Greg George immediately jumps into the lead. That's Jeff Elrod. He's won a couple of times on the circuit already this year, and they hang up immediately in turn number 1. That was the number 12 car of Lloyd Castle that hung up for a while. Look at Elrod sneak inside, and the man who won in San Diego, the man who won in Houston, has overtaken the lead here.
And all of a sudden, Greg George is dead in the water in turn number 2. Elrod assumes the lead. Lloyd Castle in second place. Christopher Neal in third.
Well, Jeff Elrod, he has been just a phenomenal man to watch race the Ultra Stocks all year long. He goes on bicycles that are on 2 wheels for a second, Marty, and pulled out of it.
A nice piece of driving by Jeff Elrod right now as he's taking that car of his VW around the track in fine fashion. You can see Lloyd Castle taking the inside line on turn number 1. Elrod decides to take the outside.
So Elrod is the leader. Lloyd Castle number 2, and Vincent Gemlin is running third right now.
A third and fourth battle right there with Christopher Neal in third. Shomlin now trying to take over third, but he gets slid off the pace just a little bit coming out of turn 2.
But meanwhile, Jeff Elrod continues to just drive away with this thing. We've seen a lot of people. Maybe it's the track tonight, Marty. Maybe the conditions are leading. If you can get the lead, there's a good chance you might be able to maintain it.
Well, go to IndyCar racing, for example. Emerson Fittipaldi, with all his Formula One experience of driving in the rain, IndyCar people will tell you he is the man to beat whenever it is a wet road condition in that circuit. But yet on dry conditions, you'll find the names of Bobby Rahal and Mario Andretti and the other guys coming to the forefront. And that may be the same situation here. Jeff Elrod's been in these vehicles long enough. He knows the courses the way they're built, and he's doing a super job.
There's the race for third and fourth place right now. Christopher Neal, who was in the last row as this whole thing started, has moved into third place. But Jeff Elrod continues to run a masterful race. I think we got Lloyd. Who is that? Lloyd Castle?
Lloyd Castle, and turn number 4 is out of it. It looks as though he's just stalled, and so is Christopher Neal down in turn number 1.
And Vincent Gemlin has now moved into third place. I'll take that ticket second place because the cars are starting to drop out of the race.
Well, Christopher Neal, I should say, got his car restarted. He's now in third place. But Jeff Elrod maintains his lead. You see him coming out of turn number 4.
Well, as he comes across the start-finish line, he will have 2 laps remaining. Jeff Elrod is the leader, 2 laps to go. We are at the Mickey Thompson Off-Road Championship Grand Prix. This is Pasadena, California, the Rose Bowl, where they hold the granddaddy of all the Rose Bowl games on January 1st every year. So there's Jeff Elrod going through the whoop-de-doos with the bumps. Then he makes a hard left turn, and you can see some of these guys getting hung up. Christopher Neal hung up on that barrier.
And that's Ken Kazarian almost sliding into the barriers. But he manages to maintain control. He loses a couple of spots. That's defending champion in Ultra Stock, but back up front with Jeff Elrod.
In a Scirocco, a VW Scirocco takes the white flag. 1 lap remaining, and he has got a quarter of a lap on anybody even close. Vincent Gemlin is about a quarter of a lap back right now.
Now all Elrod has to do is just make it around the course safely, stay out of everybody else's way, because they're the ones that are having all the problems. He's had a nice, wonderful drive here in heat number 1 of Ultra Stock.
Kind of a nice Saturday night drive in Southern California, so let's bring Elrod on home. And that was Lewis, I believe, Tim Lewis in the Porsche, and he is smoking. And that Porsche is just going crazy right now, but he puts it into gear as Jeff Elrod comes across and takes the checkered flag and goes through a plume of white smoke.
Well, you want to find out the quickest way to lose a couple of positions in this sport. Watch what happens to Christopher Neal. This is into turn 1. On the brakes hard, and there's a little bump right there, and oops. That's the quick way of losing a position as Shomlin goes into the position ahead. Christopher Neal then stalls the car, gets it started again.
When it comes to making great wheels look their best, Eagle One doesn't miss a beat. Eagle One, a complete line of wheel and body care products for those who love cars as much as we do.
On the line right now, and this is a lot of fun to watch these guys run. The Unlimited Super 1600s, Marty.
And you got Brad Castle and Jerry Welcho on the front rows, and those are the guys battling for the points lead right now. Welcho on the outside is leading by 3 points, 144 to 141 over Castle. Our in-car camera for this race will be with Robbie Gordon in row number 2, the outside, the number 4 Chenoweth. Robbie won the last time out. He took the main event at Houston. We're just about ready to go.
There's Gary Scheiber. He's our starter. You see the flashing red light on Welcho's car? I found out why. He's got some little girls in the stands today that can never find Daddy. so they put the flashing red light on it so they can see where Dad is at all times of the race.
Well, we'll need it, too, because this is going to get awfully muddy.
And there they go. It is Brad Castle who opens up a nose lead as he goes into turn number 1. Welchel goes far to the outside. There's a little bit of bumping going on. We've got Marty Coyne sideways as they go around turn 1, and that caused nothing but problems. And there's our two leaders right now. As it started, Brad Castle, Jerry Welchel. Welchel takes the lead. Castle went sideways, hit the barrier, and that opened up the door for Jerry Welchel, and his little girls have no problem spotting Daddy's car right now.
Yeah, well, it's easy when you're out in front. Our in-car camera car, Robbie Gordon, got bumped all the way back to 4th place. It looks like Jimmy Nichols is taking over 3rd. Jerry Welchel in front, Brad Castle 2nd.
So there's Welchel, the number 8 cars. He spins around turn number 1, 7 laps remaining. Brad Castle in 2nd place and jamming Jimmy Nichols running number 3 right now. But Welchel is running away with it, but he goes dead. He stops on the middle part of the course, and he is in a dead stall, Marty.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like he's gotten going too quickly. It finally does, but he's lost about 7 places. Back up front, it'll be Brad Castle, Jimmy Nichols, and Robbie Gordon, 1, 2, 3.
So Brad Castle, the 24-year-old from Buena Park, California, says, "Thank you very much, Jerry. I couldn't pay you to do something like that." And Brad Castle has it. He's got 6 laps remaining. Jimmy starts to make a move on him.
And Robbie Gordon gets out of control sideways, and oh, is he in a dangerous spot there?
Somehow
he's lost about 3 spots.
Well, there's the leader, Brad Castle. We've got about 4.5 laps remaining. That far sweeping turn as he heads to the straightaway. And we see a yellow flag out here, Marty. We've got a yellow flag they're holding up. It's a timeout.
No, it's 4 laps going. You can't see from our position the other cross flag. He's giving him a cross flag. That's halfway through the race.
All right, so Brad Castle goes to the far side of the course right now. A couple of double jumps and then into the whoop-de-doo area, or the bumps. And look at how they rock side to side, how the suspension is being worked overtime right now. So Brad Castle, the leader, and that's Jimmy Nichols trying to make a move on him, but is unable to pick up any ground, and he bicycled for a little while. We got cars all jammed together in the middle of the course, and one on its lid.
And I'm having a difficult time seeing who it was that went over. Danny Fisk is the man who went over, and he looks to be okay. He's waving from inside the cockpit, but that's going to slow everybody down, bring out the full course yellow.
And that is also Craig Turner, who's sitting right next to him. Craig finally gets power to his car. He's waving. I guess he's saying, "I'm okay," but somebody turned me right side up.
One of the interesting things, while we've got the delay, Jerry Welchel has moved all the way back up to 5th spot, so we'll keep an eye on him when we go green again.
And the Unlimited Super 1600s take the green flag once again. Brad Castle has the lead. He came in tonight just 3 points behind Jerry Welchel for the overall lead on the 1988 circuit, and they jam up again. Jimmy Nichols got jammed in and lost a little bit of ground on Castle. And look at him still banging.
The banging is going on everywhere. That's Jim Fishback Jr. and Marty Coyne riding each other into the rail.
Fishback Jr. had the 3rd space all to himself until that mishap took place. But it is Brad Castle on the far side of the course who has been taking every bit of advantage that he can get. You give him an inch, he'll take a mile. 1 lap remaining for Brad Castle. Needs a win here tonight at the Mickey Thompson Off-Road.
That's Robbie Gordon and Jerry Welchel fighting it out for 3rd place. Gordon in 3rd. Welchel won to take it away. After he got passed after stalling, Welchel's done a super job of moving back.
Welchel was the points leader coming into the race at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena tonight. And we've got cars stacked up everywhere now. It looks like
Jim Fishback Jr. again.
He's been in trouble all night long, but here comes the leader. It's going to be Brad Castle. He started in the number 1 slot, and he will take the checkered flag from Buena Park, California. Brad Castle is the winner. Jimmy Nichols will finish 2nd.
Well, it was a wild heat. Look at this. As Jim Fishback Jr. gets run into by Marty Coyne. Now, Jim sort of sets it up by going sideways, but then they decide to ride each other into the rail. Fishback wants to stay to the outside. Coyne wants to move to the inside, and neither one of them is going to get to where they want to go as they're just V-shaped into each other.
If you could ask For a rugged, reliable partner that'll take on heavy-duty responsibility. Toyota one-ton truck. No compact or even mid-sized truck hauls a payload like this. And when you ask for pulling power, 1 ton gives you 2.5 tons. Don't compromise. Don't settle for less than Toyota quality. And now who's looking out for number 1?
Toyota. If you're like me, you want your engine to perform. You want it to run clean, and you don't want sludge. That's why you and I both need Quaker State with QSX. No other oil runs cleaner or fights sludge better. And the Quaker State I use in my car is the same oil you can buy right off the shelf for your car.
Quaker State. The big Q stands for quality. Always has, always will. Want to make your pulse race? Come see the Quaker State Porsche race in the Quaker State 500 at Pocono Raceway, Sunday, August 21st. Call 1-800-RACEWAY.
Hello again, Gary Lee along with IndyCar veteran Steve Chassie. We are live from Indianapolis Raceway Park. In fact, we will join you again live in about 30 minutes at 10 o'clock Eastern Time for the first of our 9-race live Hardee's Racing Series from Raceway Park. Tonight we have the USAC Jolly Rancher Midgets. 61 cars have qualified. We still are qualifying. We have a brand new track record. Lots of racing coming your way at 10 o'clock Eastern Time. Right now, let's go back to the Mickey Thompson Off-Road Series.
Well, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. It is the heat race. It continues for the Grand National Sport Trucks, and they waste little time at all as they head for turn number 1. And in steps the Toyota, sends everybody outside, and the Jeep walks away with the lead, Marty. Unbelievable driving going on.
Ivan Stewart, Walker Evans just put on a passing display. Both of them coming away very sharply and cleanly. Look at this, 4 abreast.
Lined up 4 wide as they come down the middle straightaway, and look at them fight for that turn. And we've got a car on its side right off the bat.
That's Ivan Stewart. He's going to be on his side, and that'll bring out the full course yellow with Walker Evans up front and Roger Mears in second.
And right now he's watching everybody else go by sideways.
Well, if you're wondering what this view is, this is how you get around muddy conditions at a racetrack. We decided we couldn't give you views from the front, so we'll turn the camera around out of Rod Millen's truck. We'll show you what it looks like going from behind. We'll see the vehicles trying to come up. Glenn Harris's tailpipe.
Well, here we go. They're off and racing again. Walker Evans has the lead. That is Roger Mears running number 2. The green flag is out and running again. Mears goes wide to the outside and gets bumped. And Walker Evans is the benefactor of that one as he maintains the lead.
And Rod Millen moves into second space. Actually, this is a big tribute to Roger Mears. That's still the old truck. He was hoping to have the new Budweiser Nissan ready for this event, but it's still back in the shop.
And Mears says he will have it ready for the Coliseum later in the circuit. But look at, there's the backside shot coming out the rear end of the car. Isn't that a great shot, Marty?
That's a different perspective to off-road racing, I guarantee you.
Well, here's the race. We continue. We have got 5 laps remaining. It is Walker Evans with the lead right now. Rod Millen, number 21. And Evans goes too far outside, and Millen steps in and takes the lead.
Walker got up on 2 wheels. He bicycled it too long, and now he's in second place as Rod Millen took advantage.
There's the fight for second. It is Roger Mears and Walker Evans right now. And Evans, as they come through the whoop-de-doo, will bank a hard left turn, and he takes over second place.
I can't tell you what an impressive job this is for Roger Mears, because all day during practice and qualifying, he was just having his hands full getting this truck around.
Well, there's body parts flying everywhere right now. Oh, there's a good shot. How'd you like to see this guy in your bumpers? You're going around an off-road track, a little chunk of Baja in Pasadena, California.
That's Steve Millen trying to get around our in-car camera of Glenn Harris in the Mazda.
Meanwhile, it is the number 21 car, Steve's brother of Rod Millen right now, who has the lead. He's riding the Mazda. You see that fire belching out the side. Nothing to worry about. These Mazdas run very hot exhaust systems. Some of that fuel gets down into it, and it simply burns out in the form of a flame. There's Walker Evans right now in second place. Roger Mears is running third.
Get a close-up of Roger Mears' left front tire. It looks like it could be going down on him. Now, we can't see it from here. He's on the other side there, but Roger Mears looks like he is losing air pressure in the left front tire. Yes, that tire is going flat, and he's still maintaining third place.
So Roger Mears is real happy about this. He's going to bring it home on a wounded wing, if nothing else. There's your leader, Rod Millen, Newport Beach. He's from, lives right here in Southern California, and considers his racing at home. We're at the Rose Bowl, Pasadena, California. It's the Mickey Thompson Off-Road Championship Grand Prix. And as he comes across the start-finish line, 2 laps remaining now for Rod Millen. Riding in the Mazda today, it's a Jeep running second in Walker Evans, and Roger Mears continues to run in third.
Question I have for Roger Mears' crew and for Roger is how long can that tire hold out?
I'll tell you what.
Oh! Walker Evans hits the hydro barrier, misjudges the corner, and he's over on his side.
And because of that, Roger Mears has taken over second place, but Walker Evans is on the side of his car right now for the second time in this race.
Well, you can see just how bad a shape that both Walker Evans and Roger Mears are in. I like Mears' condition better. He's in second place with a flat, whereas Walker Evans has got 4 fully inflated tires, but none of them are touching the pavement or the dirt.
Okay, well, there's the deflated tire on Roger Mears' car, but nonetheless, he is in second place right now, Marty.
But Steve Millen has come from 10th place. He's right behind him. The question is, will Roger be able to hold him off? Because I think Rod Millen is going to run away and hide from both of them.
Well, we'll find out right now. The green flag's down. 1 lap remaining. Millen makes a far sweeping turn, and look at Mears drive that car with a flat tire, maintain second place. Steve Millen trying to work the inside here, cannot do it. Roger Mears closes the door. Rod Millen walking away with the lead.
And it's the right-hand turns that are more dangerous for Roger Mears, and that's the biggest bonus he could have gotten.
Oh, did you see Steve Millen go up on his side right now? But there's the big pack. They're bumping and grinding, and here it comes, the checkered flag for Rod Millen from Newport Beach, California. Mears with a flat tire finishes second.
That's unbelievable. Spectacular finish for that man right there. Roger Mears without the advantage of 4 fully inflated tires. And you'll notice here, just as he's going by there, you'll see some flames. Somebody's fuel cell was punctured in this heat right near the end. I think it was Al Arciero's. I'm not quite sure, but just a little bit of the fuel came out and ignited. Well, let's go back and set this up and see what exactly happens to Ivan Stewart. Look at this, 4 abreast. It's the first time that's happened all season on the series. Everybody fighting for position. It looks like Roger Mears has got a sandwich with Walker Evans, and you know what the meat is? Ivan Stewart, because here he goes. He gets a little sideways, a little nudge from Walker as he's drifting from the outside. Rough driving, may take a look at that one later on. And Ivan ends up on his side now dead last in this heat. Well, we were wondering if Roger Mears would have been able to hold on to second place. This move may have been the key. Watch what happens to Steve Millen as Glenn Harris comes in and pushes him high outside, bicycles him up, and just slows him down long enough to allow Roger Mears to hold on for second place. Rod, got to tell you, that was one of the wildest heat races we have seen all year long. How did you manage to survive?
Well, it was real busy out there, you know. Some things happened in front of me and sort of left me some openings to sort of slip through. The Mazda truck worked really good. We've got a new weight jacking system in the truck, and you know, with this really slippery track tonight, I'm busy not only shifting gears, but jacking weight across the truck as I'm coming in and out of the corners to get better traction and get me out of the corners quicker.
Well, the one thing I noticed is that the layoff, you were not with us at Houston, but it certainly did not seem to hurt your driving any.
Well, I'm trying to make up for what I lost out in Houston there and see if I can get myself back in the lead again.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Only Auto Week, the news weekly of motoring, makes cars come alive every week. GTs, sports sedans, collector cars, 4x4s, front drivers. And Auto Week makes racing come alive every week. Formula One, sports cars, stockers. Auto Week brings it home fast, days after the race. Auto Week makes you an insider with industry news, personality profiles, columnists, the best classified anywhere. Let Auto Week, the news weekly of motoring, make cars come alive for you. Call 1-800-554-3000 to get Auto Week at our special discount price. Just $17.25 for 52 issues, only 33 cents a week. You'll save 74% off the cover price, 25% off the basic rate. Call now, 1-800-554-3000. Let Auto Week make cars come alive for you every week.
Here we go with the Ultra-Cross, and it's an inverted start, Marty. Talk about that quickly, a 10-lap event.
Well, you invert the position that you finish in the heat races and everything else, so it puts Jim Holly and Mike Pastorella in the back, actually in row 7. They'll get the bandanas and the extra passing points, And also the Boland brothers. They're going to be starting in row 6, and we're underway.
It's Jeff Mayberry, 18 years old from Quartz Hill, who jumps out. Now, Jeff is number 3 on the points chart right now, so he's on the pole position. Number 3 in points, I'd say keep your eye on him. He won't want to give up the lead in this one. So they turn around the switchback area. Jeff Mayberry leading the way with about 23 other riders behind him right now. Here they come to that far side of the course. They'll bank a hard right turn, a quick jump, and then they set up, and we got one rider down, put down automatically, and traffic trying to run around him at the moment.
That was Bobby Nunn. He's down, and boy, he goes from second place to dead last just that quickly.
Boy, just like that. In the meantime, it is Jeff Mayberry getting high. Look at the flash bumps go off at the Rose Bowl here in Pasadena. So Jeff Mayberry, number 3, riding in Yamaha right now, maintains the lead after 1.5 laps. They go to the switchback area right now, and that is number 71, Colin Boland, in second place. His brother may be right at his side. I can't tell. No, it's not. It's number 5, Tommy Watts, running in third place right now.
And checking back into 6th spot, we'll bring you up to date to Jim Holly, who started with in row 7 with Mike Pasquarella. There's Holly. He is now in 6th spot. The bandana means that he was a winner of the heat race. He gets the extra passing points.
Jim Holly won in Houston. He is the points leader on the circuit right now. But meanwhile, Jeff Mayberry continues to have some, well, they actually dropped back into second place. It is Colin Boland who has taken over the lead. His brother started in row number 6 with him today. So Boland continues to maintain the lead. Mayberry has dropped back to number 3, and it is number 5, Tommy Watts, 23 years of age from Kentucky, running in number 3 right now.
Now, Boland only 16 years old, and so far doing a very commendable job as he's running up front. Checking again with where our big guns are from the heat races. Jim Holly, there you see him. He is now currently running 5th and closing in on the 4th place position.
We'll keep our eye on that bandana. This man has done so well on the Ultracross circuit and all the stadiums we've been in this year. Started in Anaheim, went to San Diego, then to Seattle, then to Houston, and now we're at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, and Jim Holly has ignited fans all over America.
Back up front with Talon Boland. 16-year-old youngster is doing a super job. He's opened up about, at least 12 bike lengths over second place and seems to be having absolutely no trouble here on these tricky course conditions at the Rose Bowl.
It's a very clean race right now. All the riders are strung out. There are no problems on the course at all. Boland is running just a masterful race. He plants that right foot, and there's Hollywood moving up even more. He's going to move into 4th place as he comes around this turn. Well, I'll take that back. Couldn't overtake him. He's riding 5th.
That's Frankie Brundage, but I don't know if he's going to be able to hold him off. Holly trying to go around him, but lose a little bit of the power, and I think he's got him. He's into 4th.
It's amazing. This man has ignited fans all over America, but Boland has the lead. That is Jeff Mayberry running 3rd right now. Tommy Watts is in 3rd place. And then Jim Holly running 4th, and we're keeping our eye on him. But there's your leader on the number 71 bike, Kawasaki. That is Colin Boland. There's Holly trying to pick up the 3rd spot, and if he can, it's going to be tight as we come down with 4 laps remaining.
That's Tommy Watts right in front of him, and that's who he's got his eyes set on now.
So Boland on the far side of the course, going over the double jumps, a high one and then a short one, and then they bank a hard right turn, go through the whoop-de-doos or the bumps, if you will, and then a short straightaway. Look at him go through it on his back tire. Front tire never even touched the ground.
Again, we'll explain quickly that they changed the course, go the opposite direction from all the trucks and cars for 2 reasons. One, because of all the ruts dug into the landing area by the trucks. It would be impossible for the bikes to get good landing in the same spot. And then also they get the more deep, sharp angles on their jumps, which gives them more air, makes it more exciting for the fans.
So Boland continues to hold the lead here. We have 3 laps remaining. And look at Holly trying to make a move, trying to move into the number 3 position all on his own. And you can see that bandana flying in the background. He is the points leader on the circuit this year by over 100 points. And he's flying down the backstretch. His front wheel never touched the ground either. In front of him is number 5, Tommy Watts. Can he overtake him as they come to this far turn area? Oh, look! And Hollywood will make it only because Croft collided with Mayberry. Well, look at Holly. Did you see? Holly's hand went up in victory like he'd won the race. He still needs to catch up with number 71, Colin Boland.
a major accident involving Mayberry and Watts, and Talon Boland is still the man to beat. I don't think Holly realizes that he's in second place.
He put his hand up like he had won the race, believe it or not. But it is Boland right now who goes around that far turn, and as he does, he takes the checkered flag. So Talon Boland holds on for the win here today, and Jim Holly, the points leader on the circuit, will finish second, and I think he thinks he won it, Marty.
I do too. I really think he thinks that he won the race, and he may be in for a rude awakening and a shock. All right, let's go back to where Jim Holly moved up originally from 13th place. He's now currently in 4th, where you see him at in this frame, and he is going to take over second place. In front of him is Tommy Watts, and then Jeff Mayberry is the man right in front of them. And Mayberry hits the hydro barrier, knocks Tommy Watts over the high side, and watch Holly. He puts one foot down, somehow reacts and gets to the outside, looks over his shoulder and realizes he's in second place.
Hold on. So, did you check out any other 4x4s before getting another one of these? Sure. There were some a little cheaper. So how come you stuck with Toyota?
Well, my old one never let me down. How many things can you say that about?
Yeah, but if you could have saved a few bucks,
Why take chances?
what chances?
You got any idea how far it is past the town?
Toyota quality. Who could ask for anything more?
To those who fearlessly accept the challenge of car care, Kmart dedicates the following. A solid brass engine oil drain valve at the everyday low price of $9.97. You can't lose at the Auto Center at Kmart, the saving place and more.
If you've been with us for our other telecasts on the Mickey Thompson Off-Road Championship Grand Prix, you've seen a lot of trucks take dives and spills and crashes, but drivers never getting hurt. Not this season. Last season, this man, Roger Mears, had one of the worst crashes at Seattle. Talk a little bit about safety for me in these vehicles.
Well, it's one thing about off-road racing like this. The safety features in these trucks are really good. They're basically like they're a Grand National stock car with a full cage, with the seats are built into the roll cage, and with obviously all the seat belts and the window nets and the helmets and all the fire gear. So it really is one of the safest forms of racing. Out of all the racing I've done, it is the safest form of racing.
Let's go back to Seattle, because that was a wicked crash. At the point where you knew you had lost control of it, what was going through your mind?
Well, it all happened so fast, you really don't have time to think about it much. But I knew when I was in the air. What happened is I went over a big jump and got in the air, and then was tagged from the side, and it did a spiral, and when it lit with the forward speed, landing upside down, you come to a real abrupt stop. So, and I've had that happen before, and I have hit hard enough that it leaves the marks in the from the shoulder harnesses in the shoulder blades or in your chest. So I kind of knew what was going to happen.
Well, here it is, the main event for the Grand National Sport Trucks, the one that all the fans show up to see. These are great machines, Marty, and they run anywhere from $125,000 to $150,000.
Well, the Mazda-Toyota battle, we've talked about it all season long. Mazda has won every main event so far on the first 4 stops of the series. Toyota's finally in the front row. It's Glenn Harris in the Mazda, Steve Millen on the outside of row number 1.
Glenn Harris, what a year he has had, and again, he is in that front row in the number 2 car. He won in San Diego, won in Seattle, and won in Houston, and a win today here, believe me, would make him the hot shot on the circuit.
Watch the first turn. Remember what happened in the Super 1600 finale to Robbie Gordon on the outside. Don't be surprised if you see Glenn Harris sort of lean to the outside and push Steve Millen to the rail and get him out in that mud.
Could have scripted a better race. It is Toyota against Mazda as the green flag drops, and it looks like it's going to be Glenn Harris who has the inside line to turn number 1. And look at who steps in on the inside line, believe it or not. It is the number 21 car belonging to Rod Millen.
In 4th spot, the number 7, the Budweiser Nissan of Roger Mears. It's been the best showing he's had all year long in that old chassis. He can't wait to get the new vehicle.
The new one will be ready for the Coliseum. That comes up in July, but right now it is Mazda's running number 1 and number 2. Glenn Harris is running in first place, and his teammate, Rod Millen, is running second, and the Toyota steps into number 3 slot again. So Millen is taking over number 3.
The difference is it's Ivan Stewart now in 3rd place instead of Steve Millen. Millen's going to take over 4th place as he goes inside and fights it alongside with Roger Mears.
It was amazing. Millen nudged his own teammate Stewart as they came around that first turn, but it is Mazda's running 1 and 2. And you wonder what it looks like to be in the lead? Well, there it is. Nothing in front of you, Marty.
Well, it's always great when you've got clear open track. Danny Thompson, meanwhile, as we're inside, has spun out in one of the corners, but he's back okay. Look at the action going on here. We got Ivan Stewart leaning on Rod Millen. Millen takes the better of it this time, trying the inside line on his teammate, Glenn Harris.
So Ivan Stewart, they call him the Iron Man. I call him the Crazy Man. This guy drives like he doesn't know where he's going to be tomorrow. So he's running in third place right now, but it is Glenn Harris who has had a phenomenal season on the Mickey Thompson off-road circuit this year.
He's won our last 3 races.
Steve Millen has some smoke pouring out of the back of his Toyota right now. So it's Harris in first place, Millen in second, and that is Stewart running third right now in a Toyota. The Toyotas have an automatic transmission, only 1 gear, but they are capable of 100 to 125 miles an hour. Look at the Mazdas going at each other. These guys are teammates, but they would both like to take home the gravy here today. So Harris goes wide inside, and the number 21 car of Rod Millen has taken the lead away from his teammate.
And look at Roger Mears as we're inside. Mears has taken over third place to go 3 abreast in the corner.
And Ivan Stewart tried to walk away with the number 2 position, but Harris would not give it to him. His right door, his left door is falling off the car of Glenn Harris. Meanwhile, it is Millen running away, and we've got Toyotas running second and third right now.
So Steve Millen and Ivan Stewart take over second and third. Look out, Millen hits the hydro barrier, gets hung up momentarily. Now they got to zero in on Rod Millen. Toyota desperately needing a victory in the Manufacturers' Championship. They do not want Mazda to win 5 in a row.
So Mazda running first right now. Toyota's running second and third, and Roger Mears soloing down fourth place somehow as they gang up as they go into the far turn right now. But it is Rod Millen, and he's running away with everything right now.
But still plenty of time for the Toyotas. If anybody were to go over and bring out the yellow flag, now we're back inside. That's Glenn Harris. That's Roger Mears right in front of him in the Budweiser Nissan.
So Rod Millen out there in car number 21. And there's 2 Toyotas chasing him right now, and there they are. Number 3 is Ivan the Iron Man Stewart, and number 6 is Steve Millen from Irvine, California by way of New Zealand. 7 laps remaining.
The battle is for second and third right now. The 2 Toyotas are going tooth and nail. Right now, Steve Millen has taken over second place from Iron Man Ivan Stewart. And we're at the halfway part of this race. Still plenty of time for the Toyotas to catch Rod Millen.
Rod Millen in car number 21. It is a Mazda. You'll see it spit fire from time to time. But there's back to the Toyotas again. And that is Iron Stewart and Roger Mears trying to step in and fix a move.
And he's trying to take over its third spot there. And Roger's doing a super job. I cannot tell you how great a driving this is for him. Because this vehicle is literally worn out. It is so old.
I asked Roger before the race if he had the new car ready, and he got that disappointed look on his face. He said, no, it's not ready now. It'll be ready for the next race. Well, I'm going to tell you, he may want to revive this thing and bring it to the Coliseum, the next stop.
No, I got to tell you, he's doing everything he can just to stay where he's at. He is really driving the wheels off this thing. He can't wait for that new vehicle.
Rod Millen is about to encounter some slower traffic. Over there on the far side, Walker Evans went sideways, and Millen slipped right around him, so he encounters the slower traffic, no problem at all. And it is Steve Millen now that has to encounter some of that slower traffic, too. But there's your leader, Rod Millen, with 4 laps remaining.
Rod Millen missed the Houston event. He is just putting on a stupendous performance right now for the Mazda team. Let's go back inside with Glenn Harris. Harris having problems seeing because the hood is kind of starting to bounce up and off every time he goes over one of the jumps.
Well, we've got cars strung out all over the track right now. There's the number 1 car of Rod Millen. He is our leader, and he encounters some of the slower traffic himself. We have 3 laps remaining still out here on the course. This is the Mickey Thompson Off-Road Grand Prix Championships. We're at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California. Mike Chamberlain along with Marty Reed.
And let's bring you up to date. Roger Mears has moved into third spot. Right now, Steve Millen in second needs a yellow flag to come out if he hopes to have a chance of catching Rod Millen.
We'll see if we can walk you around. There is the car of Roger Mears right now as he goes by a car that had no fenders. These are fiberglass bodies, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. They are made to break away, and they are doing just that.
So it's the brothers Millen running 1-2. One driving for Mazda, the other for Toyota. Rod in front of Steve. And really, it's going to be up to a yellow situation or some kind of slowdown in traffic, just like could happen right there, to slow Rod Millen down long enough for Steve to catch up. Here he comes on the inside. Steve is right behind him.
Brother against brother. Mazda against Toyota with 2 laps remaining.
I guarantee you, if Millen is within bumper distance, there's going to be some pushing and shoving because Toyota wants this one badly.
There's the white flag. 1 lap remaining. Rod Millen in the Mazda is the leader. Steve Millen in the Toyota is right behind him. And again, they are brothers. So it's Millen. Well, I say Millen. It's 2 Millens. And there's a dead car in the water. They have to negotiate around it. They do. They go through the whoop-de-doos or the bump.
Here comes.
Look at Steve. Bang right into the brother in the Mazda. And Steve Millen pushes him into the barriers. And Steve Millen in a Toyota has taken over the lead. He says, I'm sorry, brother, but this is all business. And he sweeps around the far side. And there is the checkered flag for Steve Millen in a Toyota. Brother Rod in a Mazda finishes second in the Mickey Thompson Off-Road Grand Prix Championships, the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California.
And a little tip of the hat to each of them saying, hey, brother, I'm just doing my job.
He says, Mama taught you better than that.
Well, let's go back to the past on the last lap. Steve Millen and Brother Rod, they're fighting for first place. The Mazda in front of the Toyota. Mazdas have won every single race on all 4 stops of the Mickey Thompson Off-Road Season Championship this year until this move. Steve manages to get the nose inside, slams the door shut on Brother Rod, forcing him to the outside. Look at the fans in the stands. They are just going crazy. And Steve knows from this point on, it's a Toyota victory. Steve, for 4 races in a row, you guys in the Toyotas have had to look at the Mazda's tailpipes. Tonight, you put on a stupendous move on Brother Rod to take home the victory.
Yeah, but he's a really good racer out there, and I tell you what, I've never worked so hard in a race, but heavens, I couldn't come second, could I?
Take us through the last lap.
Well, he was getting a little held up with some traffic, and every time I saw that, I could just gain a little bit. But prior to that, it was very hard to make any time in him. We came to this corner here, and I took the inside line, and you can see we're nearly equal there, but he has the inside line now for the next right-hand corner. But there's a guy up there who stopped, and I think that Roddy made a little bobble there when he tried to, make a choice to go around them. And, boy, that was my last shot. I just had to make it work. So we came out of there good. Now he comes to the right, because I don't think he gets through the rough as good as the Toyota, and then I was able to just fly down through the inside, and I had the inside line for that corner.
Now, is that a brotherly love touch there? I mean, what did you say to him after the race right there?
Well, we came alongside each other over here, and then he just kind of nodded, and there was no problem. There was no fist shaking or anything like that. It was unfortunate that it was Rodney, I guess, but, he's just another competitor, and I do the best I can for Toyota and prove that the Toyota truck's the best, and that's just the way it is.
Well, as we've always said, you don't get to kiss the trophy girl for second place, right?
You're right. There's only winning, isn't there?
Congratulations.
Thanks, Marty.
The big Q stands for quality. In Quaker State's 11,000 RPM Porsche, in Ricky Rudd's high-torque Buick, clean-running Quaker State with QSX gives them unbeatable protection from wear and tear.
And it's the same Quaker State you buy right off the shelf.
Quaker State. The big Q stands for quality. Always has, always will.
It's the Quaker State Porsche Sweepstakes and Rebate, and everybody wins. Mail in the rebate by August 5th, and you'll have $360 per case in your pocket and maybe a Porsche in your garage.
Well, you're the kind of man that likes to do things your own way. And you can bet it's right when you get through. Ooh. And there's a beer that always fits right in your hand. But you're a bud man, and this bud's for you. Oh, you do. This bud's for you.
Strange, BF Goodrich test engineer.
After years of testing BF Goodrich tires, we've developed the all-weather Concierge. It's a real performer in any kind of weather. I believe the all-weather Concierge is the best high-performance all-weather tire in the world. I mean all-weather.
BF Goodrich TAs, tested tough to make your car perform.
No matter what size painting project you're planning, you can count on True Test paint from True Value hardware stores. For decorator color that fits your home, from country pastels to high-tech brights, trust the spatter-resistant formulas of Easy Care latex paint. A velvety flat finish starts at just $9.98 a gallon, and scrubbable flat enamel and semi-gloss start at only $12.98 a gallon. You'll find True Test paint exclusively at participating True Value hardware stores.
Well, it's been some exciting racing at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California, the number 5 stop on the Mickey Thompson off-road circuit. We hope you enjoyed it. We sure had a good time bringing it to you. Until we see you next time at the Los Angeles Coliseum, this is Mike Chamberlain for Marty Reed saying bye-bye. The Mickey Thompson Off-Road Championship Grand Prix has been brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers, and proud sponsors of the 1988 U.S. Olympic team. For all you do, this Bud's for you. This has been a presentation of Bud Sports, aired through the facilities of ESPN.